And at this time, we'll call for a roll call, please.
Okay, Director Coverdell,
Yes.
Dr. Feldman.
Here.
Director Reynolds is absent. Vice President Michelson.
Here.
And President Mueller.
Here, we do have a forum in board meeting, and now we go to the Pledge of Allegiance, please, after September 11th yesterday. So that's for all of us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. And God bless our first responders for September 11th, some years ago, and all the people that prepared there. So at this time, we'll call for public comment, and I don't see any in the room or present with Zoom. So we will move on to the consent calendar, please. Item 4 on the agenda. And I meant to ask when mention that when I opened the meeting that there's one item for time of essence, item 7, monthly information reports, item B. We will move that up on the agenda as soon as we go through the next couple items on the consent calendar here, please. And the following, Director Michelson.
Yes, I found the thing to be in order.
Okay, very good.
I move we approve the consent calendar as presented.
Very good. And then I will just make a comment on meetings attended, item 5 on the agenda, that this past Sunday, the Coastside Democratic Club invited Representative Anna Issue to the library, and they let the old farmer in too. I didn't tell him I have an R behind my name. Anyway, she was great, and we had a great discussion. She presented for almost 3 hours there with great questions asked, and everyone was so courtesy. It was a good crowd. And privately, because we go way back, our family with Representative Eshue when she ran for Board of Supervisors in San County in 1981. So she still is very respected. And I did personally kind of make some comments about our working with FEMA for finance. And she did say that she would like staff to federal government, which was very supportive. And she said they do have a lot of issues going on, but they do have a lot of resources too. So anyway, I thought that was very well.
Mr. President, should we approve the consent calendar?
I'm sorry, I jumped in.
I'm sorry, I was moved and seconded. I just wanted to appreciate.
I second. Okay, so we'll have a roll call vote on the consent calendar, please.
Director Coverdell,
Yes.
Director Feldman.
Yes.
Director Reynolds is absent. Vice President Michelson.
Yes.
And President Mueller.
Yes, so ordered on the consent calendar. So as I mentioned, please, with respect, we'd like to just move item 7 to take that at that time. And item B on that, Superintendent of Operations report, please, at this time.
Board members, I'm very happy to announce that Darren Sturdivant took 3rd in the national rodeo competition in San Diego. He had to qualify by going to the Silicon Valley chapter competition in Redwood City. He won that one, and this was his next shot at it. And I think Darren's real pleased with his performance. I am. He's kind of our secret weapon at these competitions. There was 66 people nationwide that had to qualify at their local chapters to go to San Diego. I think the gentleman that beat you was from back east Tennessee and Louisiana or something like that. There's some really good operators out there, and Darren's one of them. So I'd like him to share his experience, and then I'll move on with the rest of my report after he talks and shows his belt buckle.
Yeah.
You can probably pass it around. So Darren, thank you so much for coming in.
I've seen it, but that's not the end. I did also have some. Wow. That's why I'm not wearing it.
Yeah. Ow. Sorry. Very nice.
I was joking. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can do the movie and he could talk about it. Sure. We can have a little video.
Worth mentioning for the uninitiated or the audience who may see this, that we're not talking rodeo riding horses. We're talking about the use of excavating equipment. I think backhoe in this case.
But in this case, it's a mini excavator and I think.
Mini excavator, yeah, I said rodeo.
There it is, yeah.
that's what I
It wasn't ever explicitly stated that this was for the use of some pretty interesting equipment. And that's not an easy way to win a belt. Go ahead.
So it's
I love it.
a series of tasks they ask you to complete within a specified amount of time. Actually, I think there was only 9 of us that actually completed the task within the allotted time.
Wow.
It looks very simple. Unfortunately, it's not. There was some mistakes made, but that's okay.
It's like getting a brass ring on
Yeah.
Yeah.
a.
Yeah.
Because they provide the
That's the
equipment.
one I like.
That's correct.
The 3-point shot.
That's their background.
Can you dunk?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So they provide the equipment,
Right.
all the personnel, they set you up with the event. No one knows what the event is until you get there.
Oh, I thought, okay.
So nobody knows what you actually have to do until you walk down there and see it for the first time, and everybody's equal in that, so.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I just want to thank Mary and James, both in supporting me, the whole district, actually. It's a great thing. The conferences is wonderful as also. So, yeah, thank you guys very much.
Well, we'd like to congratulate you, and you know what the season is right now, and you know, if the field employees are concerned about your expertise, I thought, well, maybe we could get him a couple pumpkins and see if he could lift them up and put them in the back of the truck. So I'd like to present you with how good you are. Couple giant pumpkins. Or maybe take them home to your family and put them on the shelf and
Yeah.
keep them there for October.
There you go.
The big ones are coming to town too. They're talking.
Right.
I definitely wasn't on top of this. I had no idea it was the gingerly use. So,
Yeah.
I thought that whoever dug the biggest hole.
That was after the PUC this
Any
week.
given extent of time, one.
Are we comfortable, staff, with James continuing on this item
All
agenda?
right. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention, it was interesting to see these guys from all over the country. We're talking big burly equipment operators. And they're saying, I'm so nervous. I got butterflies. I don't feel good. I just, my hat goes off to Darren. It takes a lot of guts to get out there and do that, and especially to do well. And I think Darren's happy he plays because he was going to probably throw in the towel if he didn't get it soon, because he's more competitive than I think we all realize. So Darren, thanks again. And if you want to split, go for it. You can stay as long as
It's
you.
gotta be his marine background, right?
Very disciplined. Very disciplined. Yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
I see that they had Bobcat excavators.
Correct.
How do you like that as a brand of excavator? Is that a good brand?
Oh, boy, you put me on the spot. No, I don't care for the Bobcat equipment itself.
Yeah. So what do you prefer for an excavator?
For an excavator, for a mini excavator, it would probably be a Caterpillar or Mars or some other things that the feel's not as good in my opinion on a Bobcat, so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Oh,
all
very good.
the great work
So
you
that's an
do for this
additional
district
challenge.
and the staff you work around and training, and thank you for all of that, and well-deserved big buckle and a couple, not the giant pumpkin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And James, thank you for
Sure.
bringing them on board this evening.
Yeah, it was fun, and I appreciate you allowing me to support his efforts.
You may continue,
That's
James.
funny.
Great. Denison Water Treatment Plant ran the entire month of August and is currently at 500 gallons a minute. We conducted interviews for the treatment position, and I think we found a really strong candidate, and I'll announce more about that later once we develop that. Sources, Crystal Springs, Pillarcitos, and Denniston. I think Crystal Springs pretty much only ran for Skylon, so just so you know, we're using our local sources right now. Forts are enough too. Nunes Water Treatment Plan is ongoing. We're waiting for a formal commissioning and testing plan to be approved by the DPW. And hopefully that'll be any day now. We did some testing. Filter 4 is running really well. We just got to wait for the approval. Sean was even impressed at how quickly it reacted to going online and putting out good water. So it's a really nice investment. They're in Filter 3. I'll talk more about that when I get to the Nunes item, because things are a little out of sequence here. The mag meter project is in. We can look at instantaneous gallons per minute leaving Nunes, or even the water going into the tank farm and out. It's really excited about this number. You can look at what your production is and look at what the number is going out. You can see what's going on in the morning. We're getting graphs to kind of look at the diagonal curve of water consumption. And it's really helping us because sometimes on a Saturday, people don't use water if it's a 3-day weekend, or Sundays, they just take a break. So it's a real nice tool, and the treatment guys are really excited about it. The Crystal Springs fire sprinkler repair is complete. We still have to do the alarm system. People wouldn't bid on the fire system for the alarm until it was all intact and ready to go. So we'll probably be bringing an item for updating the alarm system and a couple of the sensors, but all the wet piping and all the actuators and stuff are done. New hydrant installed at the Miramar Drive, placed the entry gate at Miramonte's tank, and slurry seal the access road in the perimeter of the tank. Exterior lights in Main Street are replaced. You'll see that on your way out. Looks real nice. The lights in the shop are all LED now. We have the same lighting provider and installer that did our lighting upgrade at Nunes and Denniston and Crystal Springs. They do good work. Load bank tested all the emergency generators. We installed the solenoid controls on the altitude valve at Owls, so we got better control of when it goes on and off. And we can also hit a button if we want it to fail, if we would need to move some water down there. Very nice improvement there. And that was really Darren and Dustin kind of worked with Clay Valve on developing that strategy. So I'm really proud of their results there. We replaced the mixer in the Miramar tank. PAX gave us a 50% discount on a new one because we replaced it before the 15-year period was up. They have a little trade-in program. So that was a nice thing to take advantage. And Darren had it down to pretty much the last 30 days. So we got every last little bit of work out of that. Al's pump station roof replacement is now completed. It was just midway during the report, and we didn't find any dry rot in the roof, which we're happy to say. So we got it for the bid price that we signed up for. We thought there was going to be some rot in the roof, so we were surprised on that. Highway 92, Mary and I are still working on design planning easements, and the 90% plans are pretty much there. We're plugging away. Mary will probably update a little bit about that later. A lot of work going into that. Poplar East is started, surveying, saw cutting. So Andrini's doing that. And again, this is to get us ahead of the city before they do all the safety improvements there. So we got a nice tight water main underneath the new road. So it was a nice collaboration between us and the city, and Mary was very supportive of getting that done quickly. So nice opportunity there. Tank replacement project. We're still working on the 100% design comments with HDR and a couple other details with SWCA on the bio survey and the cultural evaluation. We should have the cultural evaluation on the 15th, and then we can file an NOE very soon, I hope. Comments on the San Vicente pipeline design are in, and Stetson's doing a revision of those plans. Treatment and distribution helped a lot with those reviews. If you have any questions about my superintendent report.
I would just make a comment. Thank you. I did talk to a resident on Poplar, and I was very pleased with the work. Coastside County has been very supportive of what their road projects were doing, starting here off of Main Street too, right? And so anyway, there was no angst about it all. So thank you for that, for taking care of that. Good start, and hopefully the rest will go as well for the residents on Poplar.
And so, thank you.
Yeah, good job.
Can I go to the next item?
Yep.
General business.
Sure.
Or item 5 meetings.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Thanks, Gina. Glad you're here to keep us straight. Meetings attended.
Chris, anything on that?
No, nothing to report on that.
And I think we can move on here, and I go to general business. Mary, would you like to step in?
I'm going to turn it over to James.
Thank you, Mary.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought there, yeah.
So make a long story short, there's a pump at Denniston that recycles the backwash water through the plant. We have to keep it at a certain percentage of plant flow for regulations. Unfortunately, I think in July, in July it failed. So we had to drop the production rate at Denniston down to pretty much 50% of what we could have been doing. Took about 5 weeks to get the pump rebuilt and put back into place. Sean and Todd came with a very convincing argument that, hey, if we had a spare, we could have paid for it in this 6-week period. So they put some numbers together and we went out to bid, and pump repair was the low bid at $81,533. It's a very important pump. I think if we ever do any work on Denniston, we'll probably have 2 in the hole already ready to go. So this is a spare. So if this happens, we can put it in and keep the plant running at high flows. So we lost quite a bit of money with the reduced flows there. So we're looking to get approval to purchase a spare wash water recovery pump from Pump Repair Service for $81,533.
Very good. Everyone understand the presentation there? So we would like to call for a motion if someone would make, please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion authorizing the general manager to procure a spare Denniston water treatment plant wash raw water recovery pump for $81,532 from Pump Repair Service. Makes sense to me, yeah.
And a motion, a second, please.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this item? If not, we'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Director Pepitone?
Yes.
Director Feldman?
Yes.
Reynolds is absent. Vice President Legislative?
Yes.
And President Moore.
Yes, so ordered. Thank you on that item. And we move on to the next item there. We have a change order, I believe, Mary?
Yes, and I will have James.
Yeah, sure.
Certainly. In July, you guys approved a time extension due to the COVID supply chain issues that slowed Ranger's schedule down, and that was no cost change order. This is capturing all the little changes that happen, credits and additions to the project. And I really like what Glenn Reynolds said, that if something wasn't in the design that we needed, we would have paid for it in the bid anyway. So I thought that was a nice way to kind of look at it. So this is a list of, I believe, 27 different changes, some small, some significant, but they're all necessary and agreed upon. Some were kind of safety related. Once we saw what parts of the said basin were looking like, we added some railing and got rid of some fencing just to make it look a little better. And I can go through any of those changes in detail if you like. On an $8.33 million project, $100,000 change order is not terrible news. It's pretty solid. I know you guys don't like change orders, but Sean and Todd and I and Fryer and Loretta have worked really hard on making sure that every little change has value and is vetted and discussed with how we can get the price as best we can. So the change order is for $99,264. It's capturing all changes to date. There might be some little finish up changes towards the end of the project. They should be done in the spring. And Ranger's done really great work and they've been very reasonable on all these changes.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
The thing that impressed me the most is that there were numerous credits given to us as well. So when I saw the change order, my reaction is always suspect and negative about change orders, but I think they've been very fair. And I know that we have a really competent management team that's reviewed them as well as staff, as you and staff. So I was really impressed with that and pleased. It just seems like it's a very balanced request.
Yeah. Thank you for doing the math for us here. It's 1.2%. I mean, I'm stating California can learn something from us.
Right.
Certainly Caltrans could.
It's like, and it's comparatively to most change orders. I agree. No, it looks good.
Yes, so
I'd move that we approve the change order.
With the credit people
Increasing contract for authorized general manager to approve change order 2 with Ranger Pipelines Inc. for $99,264 as part of the Munis water treatment plant upgrades project.
I'll second it. And we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Director Thibodeau,
Yes.
Director Feldman.
Yes.
Director Reynolds is absent. Vice President Michelson.
Yes.
And President Mueller.
Yes, so ordered, and we will now move on to the next item. Looks like it's another little upgrade, and we got you on the spot.
It's the German show.
Mary said,
I could have brought you.
I'm getting tired of my voice.
Might have brought you, might have brought you, if I could, you might have thrown it at me.
Never, never. Okay, so yeah, this is update number 25, believe it or not. They're in filter 3 now. They're sandblasting and doing the coating, so they've gone out and Pina, do you mind? Yeah, thanks. Filter 3 was built a little different than filter 4. Filters 3, 2, and 1 are essentially identical. That was the original plan. So now that they've gotten to filter 3 and we've seen kind of just different things that they're going to have to address, I think filters 1 and 2 will be much quicker, and they've got a nice rhythm going. So you got the approved change order 1.2%. Can you go to the next slide, please? Those are just kind of the details on it. So they've done the electrical work at the new set basin. They did a dry run of the plate settler system and the sludge system at the bottom. Filter 3 is offline, like I mentioned, installing a bunch of the valves. They've removed the media, they've demoed the under drain. And Gina, if you go to the pictures, it'll probably get a little more interesting. But yeah, let's go ahead and skip over that one. So for the people at home, top left, those are the tops of the old under drain system. And the next picture to the right with the wheelbarrow, these little depressions are where the little, there's like these little nozzle cones that keep the media from going through these. They're called hydrocones essentially. So that's all been removed. It was a much easier job than filter 4. Filter 4 had a different type under drain system that had actually these porous blocks, Leopold system. This is where they're putting in the new actuator. This is the third picture from the left on the top. New actuator on the influent valve. Top right, this is inside the sedimentation basin. This is the traveling sludge system that goes back and forth and kind of works like a vacuum. And the stainless stuff up top is the plate settler, which allows a much smaller basin, less retention time, and better settling. The particles will enter these little slats and travel down quicker, and also it makes a really still column of water in there. So it's a very nice older system of basically getting a smaller sed basin out of it. You can get more water through a smaller sed basin rather than a big giant footprint. It's half the capacity of the existing sed basin. It's probably about a third of the size. So you'll notice that when you guys come to this. Bottom left corner, this is filter 3. And I believe this is when they're doing the layout of the studs for the under drain system for the air scour. It's just the flange here. That's them washing out before doing the layout here, which they're obviously, you got to be real careful where you lay this stuff out because you're going to put these rigid panels in. So these basically perforated gutters go down, and that is what is going to be replacing this cone system. So, and we get a deeper media bed here as well, which is going to help with performance and run times. So that's the pictures.
Yep.
And what else can I say?
Well,
They're moving right along. I'm really blown away at how quickly they've been. They don't move too quick where they're sloppy, but they plunk away. Once they get moving, they're moving. So right now they're prepping, blasting, and getting ready to coat filter 3.
I think if I may interrupt with a quick statement while it's on the screens is I want our customers to realize this is not just a little filter in your sink, getting your water purified. This is a huge investment by this district and our professional staff to ensure that we are building in the future for one of the finest treatment plants in the Bay Area. And so I thank all of the staff and the board for working through this, so we'll have a good quality water for years to come. So thank you for that, and hopefully our customer base understands how hard we've all worked and financially invested in the future.
In the first picture on the bottom to the left, gosh, how many feet down are they in this basin?
You know, I should know that off the top of my head, it's at least 20 feet down.
Yeah.
Like, enough where you look down, you're like, wow, I don't want to fall in there.
Yeah, looking down that ladder and imagining and seeing the tops of those hard hats. And then imagining that they've got to be moving up and down that ladder.
Yeah, you don't want to forget tools when you get to the bottom of the ladder.
Leave your wallet down there.
Drop me a hammer. But it's, I mean, it's a real tribute to the, if you say that they're performing, you know, and they're going not too quickly, but appropriately and they're making good progress. You know, look at the challenge of the spot they're working. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, when you're in there chipping stuff out, it's not easy work either.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see. It's the wonder of modern photography is certainly, you know, makes a lot of communication without a lot of effort. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So good job.
Yeah.
Good job managing that. I mean, I think I might get woozy just looking down in there.
And like I said, you're welcome to come up when it's appropriate to do a field trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
thanks.
for that, and then possibly would even maybe have some public have a visiting time if we could arrange for that for this plant
When
in
we,
the future.
when we are finished.
Yeah, when we finish it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of houses right now.
But I will say that the team has been fantastic and we meet regularly, every couple weeks for construction reviews and, certainly our staff, Sean, Todd, and the team and all the HDR and Ranger and Fryer and Loretta, everyone's very professional. I mean, it's really, you know, I say they're very on top of everything. So I'm very impressed.
well, I think, Mary, from, I'm sure the board support, it's because we have such qualified professional staff guiding us and legal counsel too, to be part of this, and so we're always doing the right thing. So all of you, thank you so much for guiding this board. We'll still make the tough decisions for you financially.
And just to add to Mary's note, I was kind of just looking back on other large projects I've been on. I've never seen this level of cooperation. Sometimes something will go wrong and then the engineers are pointing at this person and that person, the subs, and everyone's fighting, and it happens pretty quickly on a lot of projects. And the level of professionalism and cooperation has been really impressive.
Well, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. I think you might be on the home stretch there, right?
Am I done?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
You know, you guys have a lot of work in the field. We'll let you go home early. Mary, I think you finally, if I didn't mess this up, I think it's your turn now.
Yes, so in June, SFP published a draft alternative water supply plan document that projects out potential opportunities for new supplies for the regional water system and going out to 2045. So comments are, were due to SFPUC by August 31st. And staff, and I'll say, largely Kathleen, who's not here tonight, but we prepare the, the comment letter in support of SFPUC's efforts. And so, I mean, this is a major task for SFPUC, and, that could result in improved storage and supply and, and resiliency for the regional water system. I also included Bosca's comment letter as well. But I think it is, the key is that we are supporting these efforts. They're monumental. We're looking at, some of the projects include the Calaveras Reservoir expansion, Los Vaqueros. The one that can impact us is the SF Peninsula Regional Pure Water, where we're looking at putting pure water, the purified water into Crystal Springs. And then there's an Alameda County Unified Sanitary District Purified Water and Daly City Recycled Water Program. So number of programs, but anyway, we're SFPUC staff will be presenting the plan to the commission in October and November. So
What's the? How big is this plan that was put out for review? I mean, in terms of number of pages, I just.
I think it's about 100 pages. I mean, it's
It's a sizable.
Yeah.
Document to review and then to comment on. So Kathleen, as usual, had to spend a little bit of time, I'm sure, combing through this to make sure she got what she needed to. So we appreciate her efforts as always on adding all of these things to her plate.
I think her response letter was far more readable than.
Than Boston. Than Boston. Yeah, hers was much easier to understand.
I was so pleased to read it. It was like I could understand it. Everything I was reading with Nicole sounded like
Right, I agree.
an awful lot of legal eagles were involved in it. I'm sure it's precise, more precise, but it was like,
Well,
whoa.
less is more.
And there's a lot of input from the staff engineers. Certainly see that.
Okay.
Well, we see once again that water reuse is charging down the path, isn't it?
Yes, so I think brings that to closure, but again, thank all of you for that. Those comments there, so. We are still working closely with SFPUC, right? Our sugar mommy and daddy, we gotta take care of us. So, okay, I think we're getting over to I think that's all the reports, general manager at this
Yes.
time, so directors requests for future board meetings coming up. Any comments on that?
I have one item that
Yes.
I would, because I didn't go on the tour.
No.
It would be really interesting to have a report, possibly come back to us about the tour of the golf course. Or another way to provide me with what I was curious about is, I was just wondering how many gallons of water their machine produces. And I was kind of curious about how much energy it takes to produce those gallons. And to me, it would be kind of interesting to know a little bit about how that compares with our processes. I called up the professor and asked him the question, and he told me of Dr. Reynolds. He
Yeah,
told me that of all the different water treatment processes, that actually the energy used in this type of treatment is very low. But I don't really have any sense of that, and it would be really kind of interesting to just have a bit of a feeling about that, because I have a fear that PG&E, as we go forward, is never going to lower their rates, and so I think that'll be an interesting piece of the puzzle.
Doesn't the don't they have a fact sheet on that term?
we
They must have
actually-
some
I'm
kind
sure
of
we could get one.
Management summary
Yeah,
that will answer all your questions versus having to write something.
yeah, I'll,
Yeah, I'm sure they'll send
Yeah.
you something.
even our consulting firm,
yeah. No, they,
Yeah, they'll
well,
get
they
you
were,
something. I mean,
they were
they'll get you
there,
some,
yeah.
but it should be at a level that you can get the answers without having to read. You
I
know.
do have
Yeah,
one number
so-
for you, because I asked the
Right.
280 there. It's only about an acre and a half at the most they've used to build this plant,
The space.
under 2
Right,
acres.
it's very
Wow, that's
small.
amazing.
Yeah,
Really very,
very compact.
very well done.
we can still arrange tours and
Yeah.
certainly I can give, you can go see the Silicon Valley
Okay.
clean water too. We can give you
Yeah,
dates of when you could go. I also, actually was at a conference a couple weeks ago and met with the Soquel Creek team. And they would be willing to give us a tour as well. They're, just breaking ground, but they really, they have it's an interesting approach and they've gone through a lot of challenges along the way, raised a lot of money to get their plan started. I mean, they're going, I think they're in the range of 90 million. or
Oh,
something.
Wow.
Gotcha.
But there's a groundwater
Right.
issues and, their plan involves, indirect total use, so.
No, thank you for echoing my concerns of the last meeting. Yes, it's gonna be very touring on Calera Creek. I remember the last process was banks of UV lights. I mean, how much does it cost to operate those? Auto is very, very expensive. So the energy costs are a great concern to me too. So yeah, I'd like to see that myself.
So I don't know that it needs to be a meeting. I guess, to me, it was just kind of a request for information,
Sure.
So it's just a comment about that. So anything that you might send, I would certainly be interested in looking at. And it was interesting with Glenn because he said that in fact, the amount of pressure that you have to use with the water reuse is less than because it doesn't have much salt.
So,
Yeah, the salt is the big killer. Yeah, so I'd like to know more. I don't know much, so.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some numbers to play.
Interesting to know a little bit about that, but and Glenn was great, he answers the phone and he's in his airplane and he doesn't know where he is and he blinks in and out.
No, I think staff realizes that the board members that were not had the opportunity that time. It was very informative for Bob and myself, and so
So if you guys had a chance to
the
check
future.
that one out, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Facility.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was worth anything.
Yeah, it was a very well done tour for us, and
We could probably arrange a tour if you would like to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Actually, it would probably for me have to be around middle of November. Yeah.
Yeah, I can make that. But next month is tough.
Yeah, but I appreciate that, and so any amount of information would be great. Thanks.
well, I think that's bringing. I'd like to ask our legal staff: is there any nervous buttons for us? What's going on in the state of California water world, or other districts? Or we're pretty well comfortable moving along in our direction now?
I don't know how to answer that question.
I know, maybe
Actually,
that makes the drive worthwhile to come and see us.
It's always worthwhile to see you, hear what's going
It wasn't on the agenda.
on. Nothing that pops to my mind right
Oh, good. So, but I know Aqua and the state has been in a fluff about a lot of water issues going through our state capital. And that's part of government, I guess. It's not going to go away.
now. That's true.
And local sources and, also with the tremendous expansion of growth in California. And where's our infrastructure along the way for bills, right? So anyway, that's another subject. So thank all of you, and Gina, thank you for stepping up for Lisa to help us tonight. As usual, you're always there for us. We appreciate that very much. It's so wonderful. And Mary, I think we're pretty well concluded this meeting at this point. And so at this time, I will adjourn the meeting for September. Good job. Thank you.
So,
Recording
back to
stopped.
The email from Marissa, do you know?
It should be